So 3, 2, 1, here we go. This is episode 4, right, Kels?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Welcome everybody to episode 4 of Got a Lot on Our Minds. I am Stevie B. My co-host,
What's going on? I'm Kels.
he's the real star of the show. And our very special guests this week. I say guests because there's 2, plural. They are a dynamic duo. They are very good friends of the show and of me and Chris personally. They are known as Honey and Blue. Honey and Blue, talk to us. Tell us who you are.
Hey, we are Honey and Blue. I'm Stephanie Amber.
My name's Adam Darling. We are happy to be here with you fellas.
So excited.
Yeah, you
We're
guys.
happy to have you.
Absolutely.
Yay.
Is this the first podcast you've ever done?
It is not the first
No.
podcast. Man, I wish it was though. You know, that,
Don't worry, it'll sound like the first podcast I've ever done. So it's okay. So what's going on, guys? How are you?
we're really good, man. We're really good.
Yeah.
We're making it. We're making something out of it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for all the people locally that listen, they obviously know me and Chris live in Orange County, New York, which Steph, you're originally from. But now you reside in. See, I'm doing great already. I have no train of thought.
We're in Columbus.
You could do it. Columbus,
Ohio. Okay.
Yeah.
Oof.
Oh, there you go.
You know,
We'll spoon feed it to you.
when I was told in the 3rd grade I was stupid, I didn't think it was true, but I think it's true.
Oh,
Nah,
you're doing
man.
great.
Nah, man.
Yeah. So Columbus, Ohio. So what's it like for you guys out in Columbus, Ohio now for your 2020?
It is definitely a bit of an adjustment, but it's been really cool because Columbus is very creative with trying to figure out how to make this all work and feel a little more normal. And like the last couple weeks, there's just been these like different events that have been popping up, like a drive-in performance. So it was basically like a drive-in movie theater, like the big screen. They had camera crews filming us and we performed on the stage and people were in their cars. And instead of claps, they were honking. And it was really cool and it made it feel like almost normal.
Yeah.
Wait. So it was a drive-in movie theater. People rolled in their cars, stayed in their cars, social distance.
well, it
And
was
you guys were performing.
it was a parking lot that they turned into basically
Yeah.
like into a venue. So they'd have their parking spot they'd drive up to that they reserved, and then they could either stay in their car or bring chairs and sit in front of their cars. And
They could even like tune in on the radio,
Yeah.
like if they wanted to stay in their car. It was like 99.7 or something like that. And then they could hear us still.
So
Oh, that's so cool.
yeah.
So instead of
Yeah.
fighting everything that's going on, they have embraced it.
Yeah, in a sense, like they're being very safe, they're being very cautious, but they're also allowing us to still have the opportunity to do what we do.
Yeah, still giving you an outlet. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, and the best compliment we got at the end of the night was a gentleman came up and said, "You guys sound great, and thank you for making me feel normal for an hour." And
Oh wow.
and that was hey, we'll take it. I think music can be a lot of different things to people, but as long as it's an escape and or just making somebody feel good and quote unquote normal for a little bit, that's we're doing our job.
That is like the best compliment ever,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah,
this year.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's such a cool like. Now, was it just you two, or was it the full band?
It was a full band. Yeah, we had
Oh,
our
that's so dope.
yeah.
It is good.
That is so. That just kind of shows you, like Chris said, you guys they've adapted, they've embraced it, they've come up with ideas, and I feel like over here it's like, why do we have to wear a mask? What's going on?
Let me be very straightforward in saying this, that Columbus is embracing things. Columbus is like, being better and a little more, forward thinking. The rest of Ohio, we cannot. Let's be real.
No, we don't claim.
We don't claim all of it.
Yeah.
Oh man, get your shit together, Cleveland.
Like for real.
I don't know what Cleveland's doing. I can't.
Yeah, I know.
So no, it's great to have you guys on. I want to talk to you because the latest album you just dropped is called Bloom. And where could everybody find that? Obviously, I know it's on Spotify, but is it on other
I know it's on Apple Music too, because that's what I have.
It's Apple
Yeah.
Music,
All major
I guess
streaming.
iTunes, and apparently the new YouTube Music, it's on there just for fun. I checked that to make sure it was there, but it's really on all the digital platforms. It's also available for purchase if you're one of those people that still has a CD player and likes a CD. We have a CD player in our car, which is probably obsolete anyway, but long story short, go to honeyandblue.com and we got
We got really cute
there.
shirts too, so you can be like, "Hey, let me get a cute shirt," and then a
the
CD
merch.
that you will never listen to. You'll probably stream it, but you'll have it.
Yeah, but the CDs still sound great when you bump them in the car, like Adam said.
Oh man, there's just something about it, you know.
Yeah,
it's
It's
a little
well,
different.
it generally is like it's a better quality audio file than
Yeah.
an MP3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's gonna sound better, and I don't know, like we're all, in our 30s, and we've lived through the 90s, so we're all like kind of like CD people,
Definitely.
I don't know.
Definitely, yeah.
To me, like the CDs were like it was a thing. Like so now people make playlists, right, which are cool. Mm-hmm. And like it was similar to how you would make like a burn CD or like a mixtape or something.
yeah.
But I always like buying the physical CD so I could listen to an artist's album. Like it's a whole body of work. The whole album is one thing, and then from there you have the singles and all the kind of songs. But I like to listen to the album all together in sequential order, the way that they wanted it.
And that's why you're a smart person.
I appreciate it.
There's a lot of dummies out there. They're just trying to listen to one song. Come on, man.
But like the fact that you even have the thought to realize that there is a reason why songs are in a certain order, or that we've like painstakingly thought about where they should be going in the album, like that's really awesome because most people
Even
don't think
why they're
about
on
that.
the album.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I respect it. You know what I mean? Obviously, I love the psychology and the philosophy behind it and all that kind of stuff. I can't sing a lick, but like I appreciate the time that goes into it. And you obviously everything is the artwork, the track order, you know what I mean? Like it's all plays a part with it comes in works together. I don't know what kind of big college word I'm trying to find, but I can't find it.
Yeah, I mean, I think with music, we try to create sort of different little worlds you can walk into. And I think with an album, it lets you hang there a little bit longer, at least for our album. I don't want to talk for everybody's album because they can all have different concepts and things like that. But, having it be, like you said, a piece of work that you can kind of sit into and that it all kind of makes sense and perhaps has its own vibe with it. So,
Yeah.
at
It
least,
also shows the growth of the growth of the artist. So if I'm just have all your whole catalog on shuffle like randomly, it's one thing if I already know all the songs, but if I'm just getting to know the artist, I'm like, this might be like, wow, this is a little all over the place. But if you listen to their albums from when they started to where they are now, you're like, oh, I can see the growth and the change of how their sound has changed and where their music has gone.
Yeah. Especially with our catalog. If you go back to the first album, like super Americana, super Civil Wars kind of vibe. And then the second album, All the Feels,
Shout
is
them out.
like
What were the albums?
okay. So the first one was self-titled. It was just Honey and Blue, black and white cover. Really Americana, really rootsy, really
yeah,
touch of twang.
when we met, Steph introduced me to the duo, the Civil Wars, and then that just like really informed a lot of the tunes that we wrote from there. Mm-hmm. Then we realized that we both really don't listen to Americana music, and then the next album that we did was called All the Feels, which basically was like every genre from. It was just all over the place.
Everything.
Schizophrenic in a way.
No, it was. I think for us it was like experimental because we still didn't know our identity. We knew we weren't. The first album, that wasn't really us. And the second album, we were like, okay, we like this genre, and we like these artists, and we like to write in these styles. So it was like, for me, I feel like the first one was like, we were little babies. The second one, we were like teenagers being like, I'm going to dye my hair, Mom. Don't tell me who I am. And like this most recent one feels like, we're like, oh, okay. this is who we are. These are the artists we love. This is who we want to be as artists. So it just feels like we've like found our identity as musicians and like as people more than we have previously.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You go ahead, bud.
I was gonna say that as far as me for like the visual aspect of everything you've been doing, it's been rolled out very, very well. All of the artwork and all of the like motion graphics that go into it that you've been doing have been just really creative and really cool, and I love to see it.
Thank you.
Let me say that I take zero responsibility for any of that, and I want to shout out Steph for her vision as far as just like, she's been so awesome at creating, like I said, we're a world of some kind that so yeah, thanks for noticing. And
Oh yeah,
thanks
it
to
all goes into the approach and just creating, and like you said, the vision. So it's dope.
This was easy though. Thanks for saying that. But it was easy because like our musicians were so incredible, and I was so excited about the work, and because like, the title of Bloom just inspired so much. Like it is so much about growth for us that like it was so easy to come up with concepts for releasing, because I was just like, there's so many amazing things about this and I'm so excited about it.
And I don't know if it kind of ties in, but I like how like Bloom, you can also think of like flowers and everything, and you kind of have like a pink theme.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of where I had seen maybe you might have gotten some inspiration from, but
Oh yeah. All pink everything.
yeah, I love that. Hey man, I love pink.
so do I. So
I just thought she was a big Orlando Bloom fan.
So into him.
No, yeah, the latest album is actually really good. We play it. Obviously, Jess plays it more than me because she's like your Spotify. Like she's like, nah, we're getting these numbers up, baby.
Yes!
We're doing it.
We're paying her behind the scenes.
Yes.
To listen to Spotify and get those plays up.
That's a sidebar. Like, particularly right now and in this year, artists have had the biggest hit. From a work standpoint, from a financial standpoint, there's not one person I know that hasn't been just really affected in a negative way because of the 2020, and because so much of what we do is live performance. That's like really your bread and butter. But now the easiest way to support musicians and artists and creatives in general is like just stream them. If you have the money to be able to buy a CD or buy a shirt, that's amazing. But even like using any of the streaming platforms that are totally free, that's like such a help. It's such a big deal.
Now, I know this personally, but say it for the audience, but you're fully independent, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we are.
Right. So you guys are you have done this without selling your soul, or selling your product, and but like you said, because you did that and there's no label cash advance that, you would have to pay back tenfold or whatever, but there is that, like you said, I've taken a hit. This is my job. This is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. We love you guys. You're like living the American dream,
Well, thanks, man. I mean, I think, full disclosure, there was never a label that was like, hey, guys, we don't want to have you yet. And it's just that the climate has changed in the last, probably 5 years or so. But we are grateful that we can figure out a way to be creative and do it on our own.
Yeah. I think the DIY.
And we've had a lot of help along the way too. We ran an album campaign for our friends and fans and everything, and that's what allowed us to do this. And we ended up getting a grant from the Greater Columbus Arts Council for part of it too. So it's not. We're very grateful for people helping out. That's how it's happened. That's.
Nobody does it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I'm also a big proponent of like, if your friends like, I try to do it with Chris too, with like his photography and stuff. Like, I don't want the friends and family discount, like if you're selling an album, let me buy the album.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you're selling, like for Chris, he put photos up. If I'm going to buy, I'll buy a photo, and I'm not going to tell you that I'm buying it because I want you to make the money that you've earned off of it. You know?
That's very kind.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Thanks, bud.
I also filed for a refund for said photo. I never got it.
Yeah, that's not happening. All sales are final.
Oh yes, the fine print.
So read, huh?
So you mentioned before, like you guys talked about like the album and like your influences and the artists you like. Like, is anybody right now that like Adam? I'll give you credit because you're the first person. The last time you were here, like a year ago, maybe when you guys were here, you were telling me about Her. We were talking music, and you're like, "Yo, there's this girl. Her name's Her.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows really what she looks like."
Yeah.
And the next thing I knew, she blew up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
Is there anybody that you guys are like, who you're listening to, who you're into, like?
we over the course of the album, writing it, and I don't want to speak for Steph, but Emily King was like a big inspiration. Her and her producer, music partner Jeremy Most, like the way that they crafted and produced the songs was such an inspiration for us. So that was the biggest one, I think.
Yeah.
And Aretha Franklin.
Oh, absolutely.
So
and then there's like there's a song on it called Makeup that we kind of were really listening to our favorite throwbacks like Aretha and Gladys Knight and the Pips, and just like trying to kind of capture a little bit of that old school breakup song in that, because those are the artists that we love. And we grew up listening to, or that we, discovered at a really crucial point when we were figuring out, who we are as artists.
yeah, even in the mixing process of Makeup, we listened to that was Gladys Knight, right? What's the tune called?
I always forget the title. I always say it wrong, but I know it's like If I Were Your Woman. If I Were Your Woman.
Yeah, it's a good tune.
Yeah.
But anyway, like back in the day, they would record like a mono drum. You'd have one microphone for the drums. Versus now, you could have like 13 different mics for a drum kit, and just to get that vibe, we ended up recording the entire kit, but we just used one microphone to get that sound for that tune. So if you go back and listen, like it's just one, it's just one mic, and it's like panned to the left, and the guitars to the right. So it's like we intentionally tried to do sort of an old school thing.
Yeah.
Just to kind of capture a little bit more of that vibe, and it was fun. It was fun.
The nerd in me loves that. I really do. Like, I went to school for that stuff. Like, I respect the hell out of that. Like, I find that stuff so interesting.
Yeah, I kind of always love to hear about like little things that you do in the process, and kind of like the behind the scenes and why you did certain things that way. And that's cool because I don't know a lot about music history and like Steve and you guys, but like hearing something like that is definitely cool.
Yeah, I mean, it used to have a limited amount of tracks, and you'd have the band in one room, and you'd depending on how early you in the recording history you go, but yeah, I mean we especially for this album, because we had so many great players on it. Like we really wanted songs, and not just like, now there's a lot of stuff that's chopped up or different. Mm-hmm. You very rarely hear about a full band playing through. I mean, like Willie's drum tracks are like from the beginning of the take all the way through. Like they're not messed with.
They are, like it's insane that, and it's so rare. People don't actually do that anymore. Like you said, I mean, like a lot of it is just like kind of a canned musician, but to have someone like Willie, who's such an incredible player, like you don't have to do anything to it. You just let him play straight through, and it's beautiful. And a lot of the piano tracks are very much straight through with like little manipulation. Like we tried super hard to give the vibe of authenticity in any way we could.
Yeah.
It shows. Shout out Willie. It shows.
Yeah. Shout out Willie.
Willie B, ladies and gentlemen.
Willie
Look him
B.
up. He's the man.
That's so cool, because I don't know. I respect the hell out of that, because like you said, it's sometimes like, I don't know, some bands don't even have a drummer. They use the studio drummer, you know what I mean? Like, and he just plays, I'll play the chorus one time and then it's going to get recycled, but to play it all the way through is amazing.
And part of that is really just a testament to the ability of the players in our band to, like, with another we know they're rare talents and we're grateful to play with them. So in another situation, you just might have to do whatever you need to do to get the best sounding album. It's just we wanted to really feature and not mess with what they were bringing to the table at this point. So we're grateful for
awesome.
them. Yeah.
But we can nerd out about this for a while too.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a question. It's something that I've always like thought about and that I don't think I could ever do. It's gonna sound a stupid question, but is there a trick that you guys use to remember lyrics in the sense like, and like Steph, I know you have like a musical theater background too. But is it just literally like you just repeat them until you like they're ingrained in your brain, or is it because you wrote the song it sticks with you better? So like if you put on a song, like I'll sing along with it. The second you turn the music off, I'm like, I have no idea what the next lyric is.
Same.
My brain just goes fucking nuts.
Same. I didn't know anybody else did that.
Well,
I'm so happy.
Yeah, well, so basically with our own stuff, we will hammer it. I mean, we're like writing the lyrics, we're living with them. We're like, that word's not right. That word's not right. We'll just like hammer it into the ground. The ultimate goal, I think, for we want to tell a story. And I think we play a lot of cover songs too, depending on the gig or whatnot. It's usually if the song is telling a story in a way that makes sense, it's much easier to learn the lyrics. But there are some songs where you're like, if you had to dissect it, like it's fun and catchy, but man, it's not a good story happening, or it's not, or it doesn't really make sense. In a way.
That's
and
the ones. Those are the ones that are like so much harder to remember. If it's not a good story, it's so hard. I won't say specifically what song, but there's one in particular that we just started covering, and for the life of me, I have to have notes on the floor because the lyrics don't really make a whole lot of sense. It's so fun. It's such a fun song, but you're like, what? That's what they're saying?
What is this even really about?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
You can say what song it is.
Okay, it's the Hall & Oates song, I Can't Go For That. Like, the lyrics don't actually make any sense. It's so dang catchy. We do, like, a soulful twist on it. And the lyrics, they won't stick. Because, I don't even know. What are you saying, guys?
Yeah.
I don't.
Anyway,
So
I
you
don't know
said
if
you
that
keep
is
notes on the floor?
I do. Every gig I have notes on the floor.
And honestly, a lot of it's just repetition. And like, if you know you're going to be singing in front of people, like if you sing the song enough, hopefully it sticks. Also, you don't want to mess up a lyric, which is a great motivating factor. So I bet you $1 or $10 that if you had to sing a song for somebody and you didn't want to look like an idiot, because we don't want to look like idiots up there, then you would really learn the song much differently than...
And it's
so there you go. You just set up a challenge.
Yeah, like the notes on the floor are usually...
I'm just going to Venmo you $10 right now.
Like the notes on the floor I have are usually like bold words just to like remind my brain. Like if I know in rehearsal I'm getting stuck on like a word. Like there's one song that we cover by Luther Vandross. I forget what's the name. What's the name of the tune?
Never Too Much.
Never Too Much. And the second verse, I can never remember the first line. For some reason, that's just become like my sticking point. So I have the first word written down on the floor just in case, like, because once you're around people and your heart's racing and you're feeding off of their energy, it's very easy to just like, have that go away. And that's the worst feeling in the world, to not know your lyrics. So even just having a trigger word where you peeked and you're like, oh, got it.
I was going to ask, have you ever forgotten lyrics like while performing?
Yes, and I was just going to tell a story. I don't know if it was last summer or fairly recently. For a period of like 3 or 4 shows, I kept flubbing the words to What You Know About It. I've like halfway through the first verse, I was like, I just went blank. So I actually had to reprint out my lyrics to a song we wrote, because my brain was just like, hey.
Personal favorite song, by the way.
Thanks. So yeah, I mean, honestly, that was kind of weird, but so it's like you have to have sort of mental little checks or I don't know what it is, honestly. But yeah, I screw it up all the time.
Even Lady Gaga has a monitor with the lyrics that of the songs that she wrote. Like,
Every
really?
Yeah.
big artist does right now.
Yeah,
They've got.
they
Oh
all
yeah,
have.
it's playing.
Because there's so much pressure, and you're
Yeah.
thinking of like, I have to know what my cues are musically. I've got to remember my lyrics. I've got to remember how to work a stage. I've got to interact with the crowd. Once the song's over, I have to talk to them, or like there's so many things going on in your brain at the same time. So like, the lyrics should probably be the last thing.
Right.
Like when you're rewriting and like finalizing the song, do you ever like think of like some of the old lyrics and then it kind of like sticks in your mind too? Or is it like once you get that finalized thing, you're like, all right, I'm done. Like I got it now.
It's kind of a feeling thing. Like you'll try so many different ideas that don't work or don't feel right, that when you get the right one that feels good, I think all the other stuff just kind of you forget it, I guess. I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's even funnier to me because we'll find like lyric sheets from when we were writing the songs, and like I don't even remember that these were the original lyrics. And I'm like, oh gosh, I'm so glad we changed that. Because that wasn't good.
What's the quickest you've ever written a song?
Oh.
I mean, well, technically a day. When we did the wave stuff, like you had a day.
Yeah. But for our own stuff, I mean, honestly, the first album, some of those tunes just came together partly because Steph would come with like an entire verse and a chorus idea, and then I'd throw some chords on it and we'd be done. Like it was just nice. Honestly, I think Walls came together. Well, Walls was a weird song because she had the main chorus for about a year, and I couldn't figure out how to produce the song around it. So, but the minute we found the vibe for it, that one came fairly quickly.
Yeah, that was it was cool because this is why like writing together is so delicious because I like he said, I had that for a year, but it was totally different. It was like much more singer-songwriter and like really slow and like kind of more of the emotional. Because in my head, I thought it was just like this sweet love song, and we kept picking it up and putting it down. And then the minute that Adam was like, "Oh my God, this is like a celebration of love. Like this isn't like a sappy love song. This is a fun song." And he just started messing around with some beats in our studio and like trying out different things. And the minute he did, it was just like. It was like word vomit, but in a good way. It was just like, this is what it should have been.
It like unlocked the door to let everything like
Yeah.
come out.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool because you had the patience not to just like try to push it out at that time. You kind of sat on it for a year, and then it is what it is now.
Yeah.
And it would have been totally different if you just pushed it out that way. It probably wouldn't have been as powerful.
Yeah. I think we've kind of done this thing where we realize writing music is hard work, and it is work. But there's like a certain gut feeling when you keep running into a wall and things just aren't wall.
Yeah, I know.
When you like keep hitting that wall and you're like, why isn't this getting any better, or why am I having such a hard time writing it? And it's usually because we've like pigeonholed ourselves. So we'll be like, okay, we're going to throw out that entire original lyric or that idea or rhythmically, what we've got going on, and we'll just push it to the side for a little bit and take a break. And usually that's the thing that re-inspires. It's like you just can't, because music is so emotional. If you're not connected to it, you can't just push through. To me, at least to us.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, I absolutely understand, because that's like something with doing video editing too. When you're seeing it and you're watching it over and over again, you kind of have to take that time to like just do something else.
Yeah.
Come back to the project, and then you see it with a different set of eyes, or with you guys' ears.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Totally.
Yeah, and with video, how things move in a way, and they flow, and it's kind of the same thing from a lyric standpoint or even a song standpoint. Like there's a natural flow that if you try to force it, it just doesn't feel right, and then you're basing it all on how it feels, which is the fun part. And sometimes a lot of the time it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And when it does, man, let me tell you.
It does.
And you're like, yes. That's what she keeps bringing you back with, that fickle mistress.
You said it.
Oh my God.
You said it.
So Adam, I want to ask you. Jess has told me this, but again, this is I can't go on what I personally know. You have basically self-taught yourself how to play guitar.
Well, shout out to Jess first. She's cool. She's
the coolest.
She's my boss.
I did take lessons for guitar.
Okay.
When I was 12, my dad went to the music store with me and bought me my first electric guitar. It was a Squier Stratocaster, and the day we went there, they recommended a guitar teacher named Tom Bowling for me to learn from. So I took lessons from him from 12 until about 18. And he was the coolest dude ever. He passed away a few years ago, which sucks. But he was a huge mentor for me and just like understood where I was coming from. Because there were a couple times like I was like, I've learned enough. I'm going to quit. And he's like, all right. And by the end of the lesson, I'm like, I'll see you next week. I got more to learn. Yeah, so you always kind of learn on your own, but he definitely guided me with a lot of different things and different ideas, and I'm grateful for him, for sure. So,
what kind of guitar do you use now?
Oh, okay. So I've got a few of them that I play. My most recent one that I'm loving, especially when we're playing out, it's the PRS Silver Sky. It's the John Mayer model Stratocaster.
You want to show them, don't you?
I'm going to show you.
Let's do
I
it.
saw him shift to turn and then be like,
Yeah, he tried to see where it was.
It's always by my side, by the way.
I was gonna say it's never too far away,
Yeah,
right?
right. So here we go, baby.
Oh wow,
That is.
It's a Midnight Rose. This thing is like, it was modeled. I'll geek out for a second if you don't mind, but
go ahead, do it.
modeled after John Mayer has two, a 1963 and a 1964 Fender Stratocaster. They wanted to design a guitar that all guitar players could use without spending, thousands and thousands of dollars. And they basically took all the great specs from those two guitars and then brought it into the 21st century with some different upgrades that are really killer. But it's honestly like, I'm blown away every time I play it. It's pretty sweet.
and she's pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very pretty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, guitars are like pieces of of art themselves.
Yes.
They are amazing instruments.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thanks for asking to see it, because, man, nothing makes me happier than showing off my guitar,
I don't blame you. I'd show you my drum set, but Jess put it in the garage. She's actually giving me the finger right now as we speak.
Classic jazz.
Should be in the shed.
I should be in the shed. The drums should be out here.
One way or the other, it works.
So we did a little bit before, but who's shout out your band? You don't got to go. You can go in depth as you want, but you said Willie, right?
Yeah, Willie B's on the drums, and we have David Swank on the keys, and he's just insane. I mean, first of all, his musical knowledge is unmatched. I have never met somebody that knows every genre, literally from musical theater up until like all of the best hip hop. Like, he's just got this massive knowledge of music.
Yeah, he's an encyclopedia.
He is. He's so good.
Yeah, so he's on the keys. He did everything from like the authentic Rhodes keyboard, Wurlitzer,
Finger snaps,
synth work. So everything on the album keys wise is him. All the different variations of that. And then on bass, Dwight Bailey, who is our Dwight's been with us from the beginning, and he played most of the bass on this album as well. So he's phenomenal. He was on tour with Dr. John for many years, and is the sweetest, best person in the world.
Yeah, he's one of our best friends, and like, he's just one of those people that immediately you meet, you just want to hug them and be their best friend forever. Just like one of those warm characters. And on top of that, he's insane at his instrument. He's just the most beautiful bass player, around.
Shout out to him, man.
Yeah, Dwight Bailey.
Dwight
I want to give him a hug.
You do, and he'd probably be like, "Bring it in, brother. This is amazing." Like he's just so sweet.
You bring it in, baby.
Yeah, I mean his bass lines, my favorites on the album, like his bass on Nothing Ever Changes, and his bass on Where Do You Go. I mean, there's a bunch of tunes, but for me, those two are like his. It's just amazing what he does, man. It's amazing.
Chris, you got anything to say?
Yeah. So, how do you feel the album has been received so far?
Terribly.
It's the
I'm just
worst.
kidding.
It's the worst. It's interesting. We grappled with this. We had a really difficult time deciding if we wanted to release the album when we did, because there's just so much going on in the world, and it feels so small to release a body of work around this time, and like almost a distraction. And people have been really beautiful and supportive, and just saying how it has been a positive distraction. It's been something that's really helped them work through, and that's what's so important about art right now. So it's not this massive scale of like thousands and thousands of people being like, this is the greatest thing, but we've had such incredible responses as far as like they've been so genuine, and they've been really, really moved by what we've done. So like you can't really ask for anything else.
Yeah. And we knew going in, because we were originally going to release it at the end of March, and we had everything set up. The shows were scheduled, all that. Obviously, that was would have been it wouldn't have happened with the shows, but
It would have been a disaster.
and so we just knew when we decided to release it, it was just going to be like a consistent effort of just trying to get people to hear it, over long term. And like Steph said, we're just grateful that people are digging it. And
The whenever anybody even takes a second to message us on Instagram, or friends and family texting, or people messaging us on Facebook, or emailing us, or whatever, like that still blows my mind ridiculously, because there's so much going on in our lives. The fact that what we did moved you enough that you felt the need to reach out to us and tell us that you enjoyed it, like you can't, like it's such a beautiful thing. And I think when I was younger, I had these like grand ideas of like Madison Square Garden and like millions of people shouting our names. And now, like, when it comes down to it, that's the stuff that's really important, is moving people and connecting with people, and people really enjoying what we do, no matter what the scale is.
amen.
I'd like to see you guys at the Garden.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, not gonna lie, that'd be pretty cool.
I'd buy those tickets for sure.
When the whole lockdown kind of started, my aunt called me, and she's like, "Hey, I want to power wash and stay in the back deck. Can you come over?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So it was just me and her, and to keep the minimum amount of people and distancing and all that kind of stuff. But while we were working, I was like, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna put on music. Helps work pass the time and all that kind of stuff." So I put on you guys. And I just put on Spotify, and then I was just like, I just shuffled like your whole catalog, the thing I said not to do earlier in the podcast.
He did it.
Yeah, but
She like, we're listening to it, and she's just kind of like, "Who is this?" And I was like, "Oh, it's this duo, or that I know. They're called Honey and Blue." And she's like, "Oh, okay, all right, I like the song." And then 3 songs go by. She was like, "Is this the same people?" I said, "Yes, Rose, this is the same people." And she's like, "Oh, wow. Okay." And then kept going through basically. She's like, "Are we still listening to them?" And I was like, "Yes, this is still them." Okay. And she's like, "Okay, all right, you're gonna have to write it down, because I need to hear this stuff. I need to hear it."
Aww.
So I hopefully made a fan for you.
Yay!
thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah, but she was like super into your music.
That's always great to hear, man. We never take it for granted.
Yeah.
I mean, before I met Steph, I made a few albums. Started my first album I made when I was 17 with a couple buddies of mine, and so I've made a few more before I met Steph, and it's like nobody cared. So when people do care, and I think that I'm so grateful to be working with Steph anyway, and come up with the stuff that we write, but. It is that it's resonating with people is really cool, because I know the feeling of it not resonating, and so I don't take that for granted when it does. It's cool.
So you guys have performed in obviously Columbus. I know Natalie's, right, is the place that you guys performed at a lot. Is that the name of it? I don't know many other venues out there, but I've seen you here in Orange County. I've seen you perform. I've seen you perform in New York City. Is there I mean, obviously, like, the spots close to you guys, you're going to hold near and dear. You know what I mean? But is there any places that have been, like, super cool, like, to play that, you know, that you guys were like, wow, like, this is pretty fucking neat right now?
For me, I think one of my favorite places of all time, actually, it is here in Ohio, and we've only played it a small handful of times, but there's this place called the Rock Mill Brewery. It's over in Lancaster, Ohio. It's like probably like an hour away from us.
Sure.
Yeah, about an hour. And it's just like this big, beautiful open farm. It's just magical there. And because everything that was going on with the pandemic, we got to do one of our release shows there, and it was socially distanced. It's outdoors. People just made reservations, and they could just bring kind of like a picnic blanket, and food was like brought down the hill, and it just felt so intimate and so wonderful and so refreshing. And like the first time that we played there, like I just got choked up, and I couldn't even like complete my song, you know, with any grace, because it was just like such a connecting moment.
Yeah, that was the first show we did, basically out of, you know, when some of the restrictions were lifted this summer. And Rock Mill Brewery, it's cool because we play at the bottom of this hill. There's this little chapel that's been there forever. And so we set up the sound system, and it goes up this big hill, and it creates this natural amphitheater. And it's amazing. Yeah. It's really strange how good it sounds and how well the sound travels. So we just saw some friends there on Friday night, and we were just out in the out in the woods, basically. Out in the woods listening, and it's such a treat. So that's a great thing. Yeah. That's our favorite right now, and you know, to be able to play outside and have people feel safe and still like they're listening to tunes. That's awesome. Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, there's nothing that I've seen over here that's like trying to do anything like that.
Well, you know, it's to have that experience like we did on Thursday with the drive-in concert we were talking about earlier. Like, I feel like people can just figure out a way to do it now that you know that it's a possibility. Like, you know, hey, here's a band, set up a little stage and just have people drive up and check it out. You know, I think we've got to be
creative
mavericks about this sort of thing. Yeah. You know?
And it gives us hope as musicians, because when this first started, we had no idea what our future was going to be. We went from having an entire year's worth of gigs, you know, just completely planned for us, and by us, you know, taken away. You kind of spiral out, and you're like, when are we going to be able to perform around people and connect with people again? And just this feeling of like, oh my gosh, maybe next summer is going to be a beautiful thing, because we're already experimenting here in Columbus with what we can do. Like by next year, I'm sure will have had so much time to be creative, and I'm sure New York will, you know, do the same things where they're going to come back and be creative.
Catch up.
Get out of the Stone Age.
Didn't you guys also do a Zoom call or some kind of like that? Or is like an Instagram live or?
Yeah, we've done a couple of those. We've done a couple of Instagram. Like we need to do another one soon. We haven't done one of those in a little bit. But yeah, we've done a couple of live streaming concerts here.
Yeah, and from our little studio that we're in now, that was kind of one of the first things we did when it started, which definitely a bit of a learning curve. You know, figuring out like trying to connect and feel sort of as natural as possible. But yeah, I mean, we'll play anywhere. Damn it.
That's the outlook you gotta have.
Yeah. We're gonna work it one way or another. We're gonna make it work.
Now, obviously, most of the country is like in I don't want to say shut down, but like kind of shut down. You know, like there's not many. Aside from what sounds like Columbus, Ohio, is nobody's really booking venues.
Florida, Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Florida should have like a full pack concert the way they're going. Is there like any, possible thing on the horizon? Like, are you guys looking for like a tour like you did with the last album?
Sorry, go ahead.
We were planning on doing a fall tour. I was planning on doing another one for us, but I think it's going to be too soon. I think people are not necessarily ready to venture out, nor are we ready to venture out and put ourselves in different positions like that just yet. But I think we're just going to have to be, everyone, we're just all going to have to be patient with the reality that we're in, and just kind of know that when we get to the better end of all of these things, then the possibilities are going to be endless.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just, it's not going to be this year. That's okay.
Yeah.
We're patient. We've got so many people going through tough times, like figuring out whether or not their kids are going to go to school, whether or not they're going to go to school, what's going to happen with the jobs, and all the other protests and things that have been going on. Like, it just feels like we're just kind of keep doing what we're doing and be supportive as we can with those causes we believe in, and then next year we'll see what happens. And there's an election cycle coming up too, so.
On the horizon is hope.
Vote, everybody.
Yes. Please.
We can't mail them in anymore, so we have to. You actually have to go.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll do it. I'm going to vote. I don't care if I will socially distance for hours. I'm going to go vote.
Yeah. We're definitely okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna set up like an Uber like thing and be like, listen, $1, I drive you to your poll to go vote. I want everyone out.
Yeah.
Pay me $1, I'll drive you.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. If you guys go to the polls in Columbus, Ohio, you're gonna be hanging out with Honey and Blue. So come on.
We'll sing you some songs. Come on. We'll have a concert in the election line.
You know what? I'll do it.
That's not a terrible idea. We should do busking.
That's not at all.
That's not a terrible idea, bro.
It will.
I hope the song you're singing is na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye for a certain someone.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting political.
Don't apologize, man. It will be November, so we'll bring a heater and then we'll be ready.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's what coats are made for. I'm ready. I'm ready, baby.
Yeah.
Clearly, we'll be campaigning in some way, shape, or form.
I had something in my mind I want to ask, but I forgot.
Yeah, what's on your mind?
Hey,
he said it. Hey. Steph, I don't. You probably are as well, but like Adam, I wanted to ask you. I know you're a big reader, right? You like reading?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you have a book or two that you're into that you could recommend for my dumbass?
Oh well, yeah. I'm reading Steph said it. So it's weird because Steph loves fiction
so much.
I have an inability to read fiction, and I don't know why. It's not interesting to me. I can't dive in, which maybe means that my imagination sucks. But I love like nonfiction stuff. So I just picked up a book recently called The Immunity Code by Joel Green, which is he's talking about manipulating the gut microbiome through food instead of just supplements or probiotics in order to create immunity and health. He also has other different strategies for like improving sleep and newer ideas of movement and working out versus just, hey, go to the gym and do this 3 times a week. So it's a cool book. I could go on and on about that stuff, but I think that's a good read. What else am I?
Wasn't the
the other book I'm reading is by Ibram X. Kendi called Stamped from the Beginning. It's a fascinating book on racism from the beginning of time until now and bringing it into this country and how it all happened, which honestly, like, I think everybody should read that book. I think it should be required in schools. Just the way that he's describing things and telling the history behind it is amazing.
Yeah.
What was that one again?
Stamped from the Beginning by Ibram X. Kendi. Kendi.
Nice. It's on Audible.
Hey.
Yeah, it's
Scoop that right now.
it's amazing, man. Amazing, and it's honestly just unbelievable what humans do to each other. You know?
Check. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely gotta check that out. That's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy. I believe it, but like, I don't know. Steph, are you reading anything?
I am. I've got like 3 books that I'm reading right now. I normally don't juggle, like I focus on one. I have a really good murder mystery that I'm reading right now because that's like my favorite is murder mysteries. I don't watch TV shows about that, but I love a good fiction, detective novel or any of that stuff like the whodunit. And then I'm bouncing with, I just finished a Chuck Palahniuk book that was really crazy and weird, called Snuff, and it was probably the most bizarre book I've ever read in my entire life.
Wait, we're on to something here.
This is what
Snuff.
This is where I wanted the
okay.
podcast to go. She'll give me synopsis of like as the book's going along. So just give him a little synopsis.
Oh my god, this is gonna make me sound so
as weird
weird.
as possible.
Oh man.
Oh my god. Okay, so Chuck Palahniuk is the author of Fight Club. He's written Lullaby. He's written Survivor, Choke, and his like overall theme is just. Am I allowed to curse? I almost cursed. Am I allowed to?
Yes.
Okay.
Fuck no.
We have
he's
different opinions here.
It's like really fucked up, twisted novels that he writes. And this one is about an aging porn star who decides to like leave the industry in a blaze of glory. So she has decided to set a goal to have sex with 600 men on camera to break the world record. And it's like,
I was gonna say, what is a blaze of glory for a porn star?
oh, it's a blaze. It is
You
a
just
blaze.
found out.
It's definitely the weirdest book I've ever read. And then for legitimacy's sake with books, I also have a book that I'm reading called Lies My History Teacher Told Me. So there's...
Not to show that I'm not.
I'm not...
I got a balance.
I got a balance. It's called Lies My History Teacher Told Me. And it basically is written by someone who was like, there are so many holes in what we're learning as children, we're learning as students, and so many manipulations to make just our culture as Americans seem more comfortable than what really happened. And it, like even in the first chapter, it's like, specifically talking about like Helen Keller. Where does her story end? It's her learning how to speak. But they don't talk about how much of a radical she was and the amazing things that she was doing at the time that were very forward thinking as far as, donating money to the NAACP, which was it was a huge deal at the time, but they don't talk about, that kind of work from her.
I never knew that.
Yeah, it's really cool. So they basically like go throughout history, all like they're flipping it on its head. So it's a really cool book.
Yeah.
What was the name of that one again?
I think it's Lies My History Teacher Told Me.
All
I
right.
think it's what it is. I'm really good with titles, clearly. Yeah.
Yeah. There
I'm
we
writing that one down too.
Oh, the other book was called Snuff, in case you
Oh yeah, no, that one's in my mind already. I don't even have to say it again.
That I already ordered it on Amazon. That shit is on the way.
He's got the movie too. Somehow it's out already.
Yeah.
apparently
Pictures if possible.
Apparently she thought she was gonna die at the end, I mean that's how she was gonna die. Like
Yeah.
that's
Wait, you can't tell
I
it. You
mean-
can't say any more about the book. No.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah, you gotta read it yourself.
What possessed you? Like, did you like flip to a random chapter? Like, I know some people do that. They're like, let me read like the first page, and then let me flip like 6 chapters in to see like, how they choose books and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And some people are just like, I know the author.
Yeah,
I trust their work.
I love Chuck Palahniuk's writing because it's always bizarre. It's always really gritty. It's always really dark. He always paints like the most vivid and twisted, fucked up pictures. In one way or another that like they're such delicious reads that you just can't put it down. Like Survivor is one of the craziest books by him that I've ever read, and it's so good. So I like whenever I see a title from him, like I don't even think about it. I just purchase it and kind of just go for the ride. And this one was definitely like I'd like.
Oh,
That one was definitely a ride, huh?
so you just were like, all right, I know it's by him. Boom,
Yeah.
I'm reading it. So did you know going in before you open this thing? You're like, yep, I'm reading the book about an aging porn star.
I
who's
had
gonna bang
no
600
idea.
guys.
I literally had no idea.
Okay.
You start reading, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, like within
Well
the first 2 pages, you're like, what the fuck?
You got to see where it goes.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Of course.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Once you're invested, it's like,
I don't want to say the word for it is grotesque, but
I think I might like really buy this book.
You know, to each their own. That's what we say.
yeah.
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 Oh man.
But if you want like a more normal book from him that's really
No.
good, Survivor is amazing.
No, snuff or nothing.
He's going straight into the deep end, just diving
Oh
right in.
my god, I'm so sorry, Jess.
I'm gonna read it to her.
Oh
Like
my
a bedtime
god.
story.
Never.
Don't do that.
You'll have nightmares.
Dad, you want to read a book about an aging porn star? She said yes.
I'm so sorry,
Wrong pause, I
Jess.
didn't hear anything.
She said no, thank you. Oh my god.
Oh, she's gonna text me after this and be like, "What have you done?"
I had no idea when I asked about books that this is where this was gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm so happy though.
Oh my god. I should have just lied. I could have left that book out.
No way. Yeah, look.
No, you can't.
No.
It's like,
No.
it's what you're reading right now.
I just love books.
I'm gonna bring it with me to church.
I don't even think you'd make it through the doors. I think it would just burst into flames.
Yeah.
You'd get struck by lightning.
Oh my god. All right, so now here we are. How's everybody doing? 1 hour later. We're all still good?
Oh yeah.
Still kicking.
I had a question for Steph.
Ooh.
When is New York gonna get a shipment of shut-in sweets?
I have to find I guess I could ship cookies and things like that. But I'm like, I haven't figured out exactly the safest way to ship food in a
on the real,
pandemic.
Everything looks delicious.
Thank
so how's that been going?
It's been good. We were definitely much more involved with it when the shutdown first happened, because we were, for me, it was like a panic / passion project. Like it was like both, because it's something I love to do. And then also I was like, oh my God, what's the future with music? I'm just going to bake and hope that people
You have all this
like
extra
it.
time, so you're like, let me just try it.
Yeah.
Hold on. Before you go down, explain exactly what Shut-In Sweets
Yes.
is.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Shut-In Sweets is a from-home bakery by Honey and Blue, and it kind of is a dual project. So the one half, the monetary half, that keeps us afloat is just a bakery where it's completely safe. You drive up and we run your orders to your car, or we deliver them. No contact delivery for that. Oh yeah, and we have the second half, which is a program that you started called Bakes with Heart. And basically we drop off baked goods to first responders, to hospitals, particularly when all of this is happening. Our healthcare workers were working so hard and so many hours. So we just dropped off a bunch of baked goods to them every weekend, and to fire departments as well. During the Black Lives Matter movement, we were dropping off baked goods to the protesters, just because it seems so small, but like just to make people smile and have like a baked good felt like something that we really wanted to be a part of in some way. So yeah, that's what we did. And it's been really great. We've had an amazing response. We did not expect for us to be able to start a business that was actually really stable within the first couple weeks of us doing it. So yeah, we've scaled back. Now we're doing just pop-ups here and there, and then I do cakes for people. Like a lot of people have been having small birthday parties or drive-by birthday parties. So I've been really, really lucky to be able to be a part of those experiences. Yeah.
That's so cool. Even like Chris says, like we took a obviously Chris is I'm a better photographer than Chris.
Yeah, of course. Everybody knows that.
So we took a photography class in college, and the professor was actually, she specialized a lot in like photography of food. And first when you say it, you're like, oh, like you think people like they just take pictures of their food and put it on Instagram and they're a foodie or whatever. But like there's an actual like science behind it and a certain aesthetic and like the way things are supposed to be framed and lighted and but you, like I was gonna say, like you guys like nailed it. Like everything you take, like all the aesthetics look great. It looks delicious. Like it's fucking great.
Wow, thank you.
Let me just say this before you can comment on it after. You actually take pictures of the food. It's not like some fake, like, I don't know. I forget, but if you watch some of the videos of how certain products are actually shot when it's not like the real product to make it look like that great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I just don't necessarily know what I'm doing ever with photography, so the fact that you guys know what you're doing,
neither.
like that's like such a nice compliment because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like, I'm so proud of you, little baked good. Let me take a picture of you. Smile pretty like this. That's just pretty much how we're
Bakewell,
doing.
little babies.
Yes, Bakewell little babies. For anyone who's listening, that's literally what Adam and I say every time we put something in the oven. Just like a little inspiration, you know?
You got to.
A little inspiration and
Get it tattooed on you.
little cupcake on my arm with like Bakewell little baby.
Honestly, if someone were to have food tattooed on him, I thought it would be Chris.
Yeah, right? Like a buffet. Just on my back.
Just trays of food.
No, why not?
He dreams of buffets. He really does.
This is the second podcast where I mentioned a buffet, so something's got to give.
We shall dub Buffet Chris.
Therapy.
Yeah, right? I haven't been to a buffet in too long, so, it's on my mind.
Love buffets.
Now, would it be too much to ask, like, I know, Adam, there's a guitar kind of near you. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Is it too much to ask to maybe play us something or sing? Or
Get a
you don't
little
have to if you don't
sample?
want to.
Is there something you want to hear? Is there a tune you're like, man, I'd love
I'm
to
sorry,
hear
we're
that
not
one?
going to do that today.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Well, touche, man. I don't know.
Chris will hit the falsettos. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got those. I gotta just bring everything into the bathroom because I got the acoustics in there.
Bring that sparkling high notes. Yes.
No, I'm impartial. I don't. I have no preference. I trust your judgment. If you want, you don't have to do it. I know this is like on the spot kind of
We could do Love Me.
Yeah, hold please.
holding.
Surprise, motherfucker.
What are you getting?
The classical here.
Ooh, yes. This actually,
This is why.
Ooh,
For
just that sound.
for the listeners, if you know what he's doing, he's getting a guitar out of a case. But this is why I love Adam, because if he's gonna do it, he's gonna do it right.
you're right. You're not wrong there.
Did you hear the way that opened?
I mean, it works out perfectly because we're right in our studio, so there's like 20.
So many guitars.
So many guitars.
No such thing as a coincidence.
Oh, what'd you say, love me?
Yeah, we could do Love Me.
Or you want to do No One Since You?
No one since you. Oh. But you don't sing on that one.
I don't need to sing.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You need to sing. You got a beautiful voice, kid.
Belt it out.
You're going places, huh?
You gotta be a star.
Okay, we'll do.
Stick with me, kid. You're going to the top.
I'm out of tune, I'm sorry.
I would give it all away. Everything I own. I promise I don't need to lie. Just love me. I wouldn't ask for nothing more. With you, I have it all. My heart will be forever yours. just love me. You know I made my mistakes, but it led me to you. I learned the hard way, but at least I finally learned. I know, I know, I know who.
There we go.
Why are you so good?
Encore.
Thank you.
That was great.
Oh, thanks.
It was great. On the spot, phenomenal.
It's like, yeah, my guitar's out of tune a little bit. I'm sorry.
I know, and I'm
sorry.
all coffee dry.
And do you know what the funny part is? I didn't hear any of that.
Yup. Missed none of
So-
that.
Cool.
Well,
You're all right,
thanks.
I knew
bye.
what you were talking about. It sounded fine.
Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you.
You guys are
Thanks
too
for
sweet.
asking us. It keeps us on our keeps us on our toes. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm. Chris, you got anything else you'd like to ask him while we got him here?
Anything else you guys want to shout out or talk about?
Let's shout out you two
Yeah.
for
Thank.
being so wonderful and having us. Yeah.
Yeah, we're so honored to be. You know, you guys are sharing your platform and, you know, taking the time to, you know, listen to our stuff before and then ask us questions and everything. So shout out to you two. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate
I
it.
wouldn't call us a platform. I'd call us like a wood pallet. But
Platforms are made of wood pallets. You know.
Hey.
So there. That's my.
That's deep.
That's heavy.
That's Adam.
Didn't know we were going to end like that, but whew.
On that note, y'all are amazing.
yeah, so I think that'll wrap it.
Cool.
Yay! Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for taking the time and
If you
You
actually
know.
want to shout out all your platforms too on social media and everything.
Yeah.
I know you did the website earlier, but just shout them all out.
Yeah, on Instagram we're Honey and Blue. Spell out the and A-N-D A-N-D. Yeah. Instagram Honey and Blue. Our website's honeyandblue.com. Facebook is Honey and Blue.
Yeah.
You want to email us? You can email us too. honeyandbluemusic@gmail.
Yeah, we have a newsletter submission form on our website, so people can stay in the loop if they wanted. We'll send out. It's nothing crazy. Like maybe once a month or so, we'll send something out.
We don't spam you.
Yeah. So that's really
You
it.
should. Just saying. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. The newsletter is
definitely.
usually pink. Usually pink.
See, I like it already.
Just for you, buddy.
Everybody else is going to get a different color. I'm going to get a pink one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. Well, thanks, fellas.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll link all of that information to the platform that we have full of wood pallets. So
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.